action. Action. What does that mean? It means let's get Agenda 21 into every single nation in the world. Action. It's an action plan. The President's Council on Sustainable Development was created to do exactly that. To bring Agenda 21 into the United States without us knowing about it. The first thing they did was they gave a multi-million-dollar grant to the American Planning Association, a private organization, and they said, hey, do us a favor, you guys, for a few $1 million. Come up with a plan, come up with a land use blueprint that we can put in every single city, county, and state in the entire United States so that we get Agenda 21 into every single town in the whole U.S. And I said, okay, we'll do that. It took them about 6 years, and then they came up with Growing Smart Legislative Guidebook with model statutes for planning and the management of change. There's another one of those $1 million words for you, change. I said I'm a Democrat, and I am. I did not vote for Obama. But, yeah. Now, I didn't like that whole change thing. It didn't smell right. I think I was right about that. Change. Okay, but this was '93. And by the time they got done with this thing, it was 2002, right around the time that I recognized that there was a planning revolution going on in the 9 counties of the Bay Area and, by extension, in the United States. Growing Smart, a legislative guidebook with model statutes. Model statutes. Model statutes. You think your county is coming up with those laws on their own? You think your city is coming up with those ordinances all by their lonesome? No. They're getting it out of a book called Growing Smart, legislative guidebook with model statutes for planning and the management of change. Who asked them to manage change for us? Change. This look pretty good. All right, change. By 2002, this was in every university, every college, every planning department in the entire United States. Every single planner who comes out of a school has studied Growing Smart. Every transportation planner, every urban planner, every planning department's got it on their shelf and on their table, and they're using it. It is the action plan to get Agenda 21 into your planning departments. Growing Smart is smart growth. Smart growth. What is smart growth? It is the preferred development model for Agenda 21. Ground floor retail, about 12 feet high, built right to the edge of the sidewalk, 2 to 3 and above stories of residential. Above that could be apartments or condos. Round the back is your parking for one vehicle, often bankrupt, often vacant, often paid for with your property tax dollars. That's right. Or now, your transportation dollars. Okay, so that's what happened about 2002. That was a huge transformation of our property rights at that time. None of us knew about it. Well, that wasn't all. They said, you know what? We're a little bit worried that people might wake up at some point and realize that they're getting messed over big time. So we want to do something to kind of, you know, work them over a little bit. We want to kind of get them on board with us a little bit, but we don't want to get them hip. We just want to placate them. We want to make them feel okay about losing their rights. So the President's Council on Sustainable Development did something else. They commissioned a book. It's called Sustainable America, A New Consensus. A new consensus. Now, of course, consensus, if you've got a dictionary, you know that consensus means agreement of all parties. And if you're an old feminist like me, you know what that's like. to get into a room with a bunch of women and you work out, you know, you go over some issue and that you're all working on until you come to an agreement. And it might take you a whole night, it might take you days. That's a real consensus. But the new consensus, that's neutralization of the opposition. That's neutralizing your enemies. That's right. That's a Delphi meeting. That's going to a fish and game meeting where you're sitting at tables like a kindergartner and given your little crayons and told to write your little vision down like a good little... You're so good. You're so good. What do you mean you don't like it? What? You don't like it? Did you see that? He doesn't like it. Well, we're going to have to work on you because you're really messing up. I mean, don't you understand that this isn't about you as an individual? This is about Bambi being able to get together with Bambo. How could you possibly? That's a Delphi meeting. Consensus, the new consensus, is neutralizing your enemies. And you know what? Communitarianism is using peer pressure. Using peer pressure to come down on anybody who stands up and says, this is wrong. And you know what you need? You need enough people that they can't pull that on you. That's why we need everybody. Because, you know, it's just too easy, isn't it? It's going to get to the point, and this is getting to the, you know, I sort of use this as my wrap-up, but I'm kind of pissed off about Senate Bill 1867, so I just jumped right ahead. And I want to tell you that I want to live free in my country. That's right. And I don't want any, I'll tell you, I'm tough and strong. And if somebody comes after me, and they have plenty of times now, and tried to shame me and embarrass me for wanting to live free, I will not stand for it. I'm an American, and I won't take that. And I don't want you to either. We will not stand for this. We will not be made to attack you if you don't agree with those facilitators. And this is what the Delphi technique is. It was created by the Rand Corporation in the 1960s, and I'll tell you what, they used it in the 70s and 80s to bring an entire nation to acceptance of the idea of general plans and zoning. This was how they initially used it. Now, what is it? What's Delphi? It is to bring a group of people to a predetermined outcome, a plan that has already been determined in advance. They bring you in, they make you think it's your idea. Oh, you're so good. You came up with that on your own, didn't you? They bring you to that point where you think you're so cool, you came up with this. This is our plan. Hey, they didn't give you the option to kick their ass out of there, and I don't know if ass is okay to say, but you know, I'm sorry. If I was with a bunch of Democrats, it would be. But you know, this is the thing. They bring you to a point where you think that you are just so cool, that this is your plan, and you agree with it, and it's your idea, and aren't you great? And this is how they take your rights. And if you object, if you have the guts to object, they use peer pressure on you, they shame you, they embarrass you, they attack you. First they laugh at you. You know, I know you know that thing, but first they laugh at you, then they put your name in the paper with your picture, as they've done to me. Say you're shadowy, give you a hard time. Okay, you know, this is the way they do these things. For anybody who thinks I'm making this up, I did show you Agenda 21, but here it is. You can't see this, but this is real pretty. It's such a cute thing. It's Rescue Mission Planet Earth, a children's edition of Agenda 21. Oh my goodness. It's written by Boutros Ghali from the UN, Secretary General of the United Nations at the time, and the children of the world. Wow, it's got pictures. I'm sure they paid them all their royalties. the children of the world. I've got this, okay, that has a little action booklet, a children's activity booklet. Oh, it's so cool. It says, turning Agenda 21 into action is a big challenge for us all. Thousands of people in the United Nations and in governments are working on it. This booklet will show parents and educators how children can start to be a part of this work. Your kids are being indoctrinated. I know you know that. Your children are being used. They're being taught. They're being taught. What are they being taught? That they're a threat to the planet. Yeah. They're a threat to the planet and the individual. The individual is bad. It's all about working in a cohort. It's about nobody left behind. Everybody's equal. We all have to come up together. Nobody should stand out. No opportunity for real excellence or failure. So you have a mediocrity that becomes your middle ground, and everyone strives for it because you don't want to stand out. You know, this is how they do it. I told you about, okay, these are the two things, right? You got that. You got your, now they're in the planning departments, so you go in there, you get your rights on your property and forget about it. Oh, you're going to get invited to a visioning meeting. Come on down, we got Vision Reading. We're going to have Visions Shasta County. We want to hear what you think about our plan. We want to hear what you think about the fish and game plan. We want to think, it's the game plan, all right. We want to see what you think about it. Meanwhile, we don't give you the option to not like it. It's like, what do you like and what do you think you'd like more? I like it and I like it a lot. Those are your options. Yeah. Okay, so they figured it's all about greenhouse gases, right? Yeah, the devil green. Nobody exhale. You're in deep trouble. And if you got gas, you're in trouble. So it's about reducing your greenhouse gases, all right? And fighting sprawl. This is where we are right now, is sprawl. I don't care anything north of San Francisco, sprawl. So, and you think I'm kidding. I'm not. Really. Sprawl is anything that's outside of a big city. Get National Geographic, by any chance? National Geographic is a spokes picture thing for Agenda 21, as are most of these magazines now. I picked it up recently. I thought we were going to have, we thought we'd, have a relief, give ourselves a little break. Get the National Geographic and look at some pictures. No, they got a new one in there now, a new article on cities, the answer to everything. Cities, the answer to sprawl. You're bad. You're driving your car, you're living on a piece of land, you got an animal. I don't care if it's a cat or dog. They're eating meat. That's not sustainable. So they want to reduce your greenhouse gases and fight sprawl. What does that mean? That means they want you to come into the city so that you can use public transportation on that straight line where it goes exactly where they tell you you can go. You get out of your car because that's too dirty and you're an individual and shouldn't be in a vehicle. What are you hiding in your trunk? What do you got in there? Flown lately? You know what that feels like? You're guilty. You know you're guilty. I feel guilty. I'm not doing anything. I always go for the pat down. In my little way, I stick my toe out of the circle. And I refuse to do the hokey pokey in front of that X-ray machine. They say, oh, that's not a bad thing. I go, I don't care. Just give me the pat down. Pat down over here. Women wants pat down. Pat down. Pat down. Pat down. I'm standing off to the side. Everybody's just, I've been cut out of the herd. The rest of the cattle aren't looking at me anymore. I'm gone. I'm history. I don't exist. I always make eye contact with all those people who refuse to look at me. Because I want them to know, yes, I know what I'm doing. I'm standing here waiting to get patted down by some woman.